Hi, I'm Kayla Towner, Product Manager of Utah's online school library and a Senior Technology Trainer for Utah Education Network. In this video, I'll go over Utah's online school library and beginning of the year resources you can use with your students so they know how to use Utah's online school library with some Nearpod scavenger hunts. So let's begin. Here in Utah's online school library, in the main homepage, we are going to skip going into the databases right now. And we're actually going to head up to the top where it says support materials. As we click on that, it's going to bring us to the landing page where we can see all the news and highlights. And as we scroll down, we'll find UOSL scavenger hunts on Nearpod. So let's click on that, and that will bring us to the Utah's Online School Library Media Hub. And this gives us a lot of great information about some of the tools in Utah's Online School Library, some videos, resources by tool, level, content, and even groups. But we're going to click on UOSL scavenger hunts. Once we click on that, it's going to bring us down to the scavenger hunts, and as you can see, they're organized by grade level. So we have an elementary K through 2, elementary 3 through 5, a middle school, and a high school scavenger hunt. In addition, we have a teacher training scavenger hunt and an e-media teacher training scavenger hunt. But we're going to click on the middle school scavenger hunt right here, and as you click on that, it's going to open up a Nearpod. It's going to ask you to add to the library. So click on that blue button to add to your own library. Once you open it up, you'll see it in your library, and for you to view, we're going to click on preview so you can get an idea of what this lesson how it will look when you open up with your students. So before you start it with your students, I look through it to see what will work for your students and how you might need to adapt it for your students. So we can see here it is middle school, so if you are teaching middle schoolers, you're in the right one. And as we go through it, we can see it talks a little bit about the library, how it's a collection of really great resources that are reliable, open to them 24/7, they're updated regularly, they're filtered, and they're safe. Also, it talks about a quick way to get to the library. You can just go to the onlinelibrary.uen.org, and it talks about if they're at home, they will need a username and password, but they can just ask their teacher or library media specialist. Just as a reminder though, make sure your students don't post the username or password on any public site. It needs to be on a private site where it's password protected. Then it will go into, before you begin this lesson, it kind of talks about some activities that you'll be doing and some of the things that your students will be practicing utilizing the library. We do have an objective, so when you teach this lesson, there is something tied to it for research. So starting out, we're going to have the students going to Middle School World Book Online, and it shows these directions throughout and then where to click into. We do give them an authentic search activity such as sharks and for them to see what they can find on the information. We too provide direct links into the content so the students don't have to leave Nearpod and go out and then go in. In this Nearpod, we do have some open-ended questions to check on learning and understanding, which is great, and also kind of to see where your students are at, like what do your students know and what did they find? And here are some quiz questions, so if you use Nearpod, it's a great way to check learning or what they have found and that type of content. Moving on, going into Gale and Context Middle School, we'll have the students research Helen Keller, and maybe you want to have your students give choice. Maybe you want them to research a couple of other famous people, but this is an example where they can start out. Again, we provide directions for them to get into this database and then some additional directions of what they can look up to help support them. There is a draw it slide here so they get some practice accessing some of the tools in Nearpod. And then we're going to move into counties of Utah. So this is really fun. So as you scroll down into the online library, there are counties of Utah where students can learn more about the different counties. And in Nearpod, they have the opportunity to take a VR, virtual reality field trip. So if your students have never been to the Delicate Arches, this is a way for them to really kind of see it in their own fun, interactive way. And then we go over how they can get access and information about Delicate Arch in the Grand County. In addition, maybe they want to learn about the Golden Spike in Box Elder County, so they can click on Box Elder and get some more information on that. Moving now into CultureGrams, this is another great way for students to learn about the world, about the states, and even Providences in Canada. So again, we help support them getting into that database and then using a different tool in Nearpod on filling in the blanks. Overall, there's some really great tools in here and ways for your students to get a really true, authentic opportunity to explore in the online library. And at the end, they'll get a scavenger hunt complete. They'll get a small taste of what the library is like, and hopefully it will inspire them to use this library for future research projects and homework. Well, I hope you have a better understanding of how you can use Utah's online school library with the support of our Nearpod scavenger hunts to help teach our students how to access and utilize the digital resources for academic success.